Lions and Lionesses, Billy Beck III here. Hey, I want to make sure you're prepared for what's to come. November 6th, the Next Level Challenge. And so by now, you want to have 3 things done, ideally. And the first one is you submitted your labs. So we sent you some labs from a laboratory named Access Medical Labs. There's 2 tests in there. An adrenal test, where we use, that's a saliva test, and then there's a urine test, which is the heavy metal test. So let's get those in, and that'll be great, because once those come in and the DNA results come in, then we'll do another call and we'll add that to it. But there's a lot that needs to be done before we do those things. So we want a baseline. That's why we want to know where you're at before you start the program. Then we're going to change a bunch of stuff. You're going to be doing a program that changes your hormones in a very positive way. It's going to improve your sleep, your energy. It's going to change your body composition. And then we're going to change the way you eat. We're going to change what you drink. All these things are going to change. And ideally, we want to have this healthy lifestyle in place, these core habits, these foundational habits. But we want to have those measurements before we start. If you don't get it done for a little bit, that's fine too. We don't need to be perfect with anything. Life is not perfect. Life is actually imperfect. And our ability to break the pattern of trying to be perfect is how we really defy limitation. So keep that in mind. So that's the first thing. Submit those labs, my friend. The next thing, the North Star. Very important. The reason why most people fail, there's only 2 reasons why people fail. One, they have a plan that's not effective, and if it's effective, they can't sustain it. They can't keep doing it. And so they have an ineffective plan that they can't live. That's common. There's a lot of misinformation in the world. You do not have that problem. You have the treasure map. But as with any treasure map, you need to have a certain mindset to carry that through. And that is the greatest challenge. The reason why Tony Robbins is in so many different industries and rubs shoulders with people from all walks of life is because we all have this same thing in common. It is, we are not masters of our mind. We have trouble focusing our attention. We don't have a clear vision and purpose. We don't have a core identity that serves us in every area of our life. That's what the North Star does. We start with mastering the physical body, and then we expand out. You will have a skill set to transfer the North Star into all other areas of life. It's really, how do you think like a devoted and humble student of self-mastery? How do you think like a leader? How do you think of not just like a leader, but a heart-driven leader that not only improves yourself, but you improve everyone around you? That's what the North Star is about. And it's not something you do once, it's living. It becomes an extension of you. It becomes a thought press. The purpose of doing it every day like this, 3 times a day, and really feeling it is to keep your eye on the prize, that old phrase. And I remember my boxing coach when I was just a kid, I remember him saying, keep your eye on the prize. And I didn't know what the prize was, I never asked. So it kind of held me back for a long time. And so what I realized is the North Star is you're creating that prize. What are you creating here? Why is it important? What are the things you got to do each day? What's that daily checklist? And these are things you're going to learn as you go through the program. But you're going to become your own best trainer. I can't do this for you. No one can do it for you. The program works 100% of the time, but you got the tough part, the art of living it. I provide you with the science, and then as your coach, I remind you of who you are and that you can do this and that it's worth it. That's it. And you've already done this in some area of your life, otherwise you would not be here. And so you've already done this. Now we're applying it to a new area of life, one that will allow you to live longer and better with pretty much limitless upside and no downside unless you don't do it. So that's why the North Star is so important. So you want to have those things done. Now, next week, what's to come? So we'll be posting up maybe, I think the Saturday, I might be wrong, it might be Friday or Saturday, but sometime before Monday, the baseline assessment week will pop up in your app. And what you do, if you want to see the whole week, what you do is you go to the bottom of the home screen and hit plan. And that shows the whole week. Then you can click on any day of the week and the program will come up and you can review it. What you want to do is review your training session for tomorrow, today. Just take a few minutes to see it. And ideally, you have the area of your home or wherever you're at. Like when I'm traveling, I set up like an altar. Like that little hallway when I walk in the room has my T-Rex, my bands. I write out the program just so it's in my nervous system. I have it memorized. I review it in my mind. I visualize myself waking up and crushing it, feeling energized and strong, and then I do that. And then I wake up, I hit that North Star, and I just go for it, and I feel great. And then I create the rest of the day. So that's what we call summoning the line. So we preview, and then we crush it. So that will pop up in the app. And now I want to be clear, because some of you are more advanced and some of you just beginning, some of you are in between. We have people from all walks of life. Now, this week tells me where to start you. Like, what is the proper dose for you? Now, over the years, I figured out how to make programs very quickly because there's patterns. There's a science of transformation. Now, we're going to learn how to make adjustments as we go through it. I'm going to teach you a system called the BB3 Results Tracking System. And it's a way for you to become your own best personal trainer. But you got to measure some things. You can't go by how you feel. Feelings lie. We all know that. I know some of the most fit, beautiful humans on the planet. When they look in the mirror, they don't see what anyone else sees because, we are a reflection of our beliefs. And if we go by our feelings, the way we feel on some days, not all the time, we tend to make bad decisions. We want to have some measurements, some optics on this. And so just keep that in mind. We won't be doing that quite yet, but this first week is part of that process. I don't want to tell you what the results mean because if I tell you in advance, you are the type of people that will figure out how to get to the highest level somehow. You'll probably hurt yourself doing it. And so don't kill yourself on these assessments. They're very brief, but what we're looking for is intensity, ferocity, no distraction. So don't be listening to like some podcast or some audiobook while you're training. Bring the thunder, my friend. Decide in advance how many you're going to do and then do it. It will not take long, but we need to get a real number. But again, don't go to the point where your form goes to hell. And if you have pain, stop and say, hey, this is what I experienced at this point. And then submit that in the results. Now, when you're done with the progress, this will be written in that day. You want to record it you go back to the home screen and it says track your progress. And you'll see like 90-second max reps for bodyweight squats. And so say you did 54 of those. And then so you'd go back, you would go back in that part of the app and add it there, and it will graph your results over time, which is super cool. And I need to see those things, so it would be very helpful if you do that. So please remember. And so just keep in mind, everything we do has a reason and purpose. Stay the course, trust the process. We have done this I've been doing this for 30 years now. And since I was 16 years old. And so basically what I'm saying is this works because it's just the science. We know what works. More research has come out in the last 10 years than all of history combined on these certain things. And so trust the process. What's going to happen is it's new. And if you have a lot of experience with exercise, you're going to have more beliefs about exercise and you're going to question things. You can ask me questions, but I'm going to give you the same answer. Follow the program. I kind of know this stuff. But I'm happy to explain things to you if you want to learn. If you're just complaining, do not ask me. Never complain to me, just so you know. I have zero tolerance for nonsense. I am not a therapist. No one comes to me to complain. I do not like limitation. I do not like stories. I don't like when people make up excuses because they're all lies. When someone says they can't do something or didn't, like if someone misses a workout because something happened, that's none of my business. That was your choice. If you really wanted to make it happen, you can make it happen. And I always go to the gun to the head thing. I had this incredible coach in martial arts, and he goes, if anyone said I can't, he goes, someone puts a gun to your puppy's head. You always said puppy, I don't know why. I guess because puppies are just the best. And he goes, if I put a gun to your puppy's head, sometimes he'd say a machete, because he was from Brazil, and that was the thing there, I guess. And, and this dude's a badass. He goes, if I put a gun to your puppy's head, then is it impossible? Then can you do it? And it always changed the way I thought, because I said, well, if I really had to do something, or if I really wanted something, I would find a way. And so keep that in mind, just planting a seed. And I know life isn't easy, it doesn't go as planned, but that's what makes someone successful in anything in life. Like when things don't go well, how do you show up? So I just want to plant that seed with you, my friend. And then every 2 weeks, so after that first week, now you're still doing the North Star process through the 12 weeks. If someone doesn't stick, if you do the North Star process each day the way I'm telling you, you will finish this program. You will complete the workouts. If you're doing it the right way. So when you do it, you should feel excited. You should feel eager. You should feel inspired. But you create the way you feel. And it's time that we master emotional states. If that's the only thing you got from this program, it would be life-altering. So few people in the world. One of the rarest things in humanity is to master your thoughts, emotions, actions. Have a belief system that is true and accurate and clear and allows you to create life on your terms. Now that's the real outcome for life right there. To master your thoughts, emotions, and actions. The Trinity. So what's going to happen after the first week? I'm going to look at your results from your baseline assessments. And then it's going to tell me, hey, where is the best place for you to start? And then I'll make sure you get that dose. Now, if you haven't been doing much, it's going to be really simple. It's not going to be a lot. It's better to do less with good form and to challenge yourself. So quality over quantity. Remember, challenge creates change, but we want to stimulate, don't annihilate. So I'm going to teach you technique like no one's ever taught you. I'm going to simplify it on a level where you're like, that's it? Yeah, but when you do it, it's not that easy. It's a skill set like anything. So you're going to stink because it's new. Keep that in mind. So you want to come at this not as the super successful person that's already made it. No. Here, and the way for anything is that you want to become the humble and devoted student of self-mastery, which means you're going to figure out whatever comes your way, whatever life throws your way, you're going to look at it from a state of love-based emotion. That I have a friend, she actually wrote a book. Her name's Marie Forleo, and she wrote a book based off a belief she had since she was a little girl. She got it from her mom. It's a really beautiful story. The book is called Everything is Figure-Outable, and that is also the belief. So she's very, very successful. She loves what she does. She has great relationships. She's just a really happy, loving, successful person. And everyone kind of loves her because she loves them. She loves everybody. And I've seen her when things didn't go well, and I've seen her when things went well, and she is the same. And that belief, though, is the core of it. That, hey, something didn't go but was planned. Hey, we can figure this out. Everything's figure-outable, she said again and again and again. This is what drives human behavior. All these beliefs, when you add all those beliefs together, we call that your core identity. And your identity, as you know by now, drives all behavior. If you want to change your life, if you want to change your body, you first got to change your mind. So that's what this is really about. Don't try to be perfect on this. This first few weeks, this first month, you're going to be learning new stuff that is going to serve you the rest of your life, and a life that is going to be extended by up to 20 years, maybe more. It depends, but at least 20 years. There's a study at Harvard, over 300,000 people are in this study, and that's what it showed. When you install these habits, these daily disciplines that we utilize, that's based off the science, and real world results, by the way, that is what you can expect. But not just live longer, to be strong, have endurance, be more athletic, to have a powerful posture and presence, but beyond that, change the operating system, the belief system, the lens which you view the world. That's the real power in this, and that's why the North Star is so important. Now, after that first week, your program will change every 2 weeks. Does it need to change every 2 weeks? It does not, but there's a reason. It's part of the results tracking system. So what changes before your fat changes and your muscle changes? Your strength and endurance. Your performance changes. It is a fine indicator of what direction we're going in. Is your body recovering? And so when you push too hard, immunity goes down. When immunity goes down, you kick in the survival mind. You go into fight or flight much more easily. We tend to overreact to things. Also, we don't have as much resources. We have these little energy leaks because we pushed too much and we didn't give enough back. So life is an ebb and flow of challenge and healing, recovery. So you'll hear me talk about the recovery factors. I'm going to teach you all this stuff, but you got to come at it from the devoted and humble student of self-mastery. Last thing, the devotion. What is devotion versus commitment? And I know during the calls I've been talking to you a lot about this, and it seems to be important, so I'll share it again. Almost everyone in the Platinum Partner Group is a committed achiever. I was most of my life, and in a couple areas of my life I still am, and I have no interest in changing it, quite honestly. I kind of like it. And so you don't have to change it, but the people that have been really successful with their health, fitness, energy, vitality, their performance, with their bodies, came at it from a place of devotion. Because this is something you can't just do for 12 weeks. You got to do it for the rest of your life. Otherwise it goes away. If you don't use it, you lose it. Remember that. So the question is, how can I enjoy this and do it the rest of my life. Let's make a little progress each week. Even if you mess up a couple days, as long as you make progress each week, you add that all up, that makes a big difference. That's really the key to success. So the people that are successful, the committed person is the person that doesn't quit. Like you see this in relationships a lot. People are just won't quit. Like, I love you, bitch. I love you, asshole. And like, I'm still here. You suck. And so what it is they're not showing up as their best self. They're not coming from a place of love. They're lambs that won't quit. Fear-based people that won't quit. And so what we want is devotion. Devotion you hear in spiritual sense, but it's really a life sense. It's the way of the master. The way of the master is, I'm going to learn this. I'm going on this adventure. I'm going on this journey. And not only will I not quit, but I will show up as my best as often as I can, ideally all the time. But I know that may not be realistic. There's ebbs and flows. It's not a straight line. So devotion over commitment is far more powerful, and it's a way you stick to this for life. And that constant and never-ending improvement begins with that role of being the devoted and humble student of self-mastery. All right, my friends, if you have questions, hit the chat with coach function in the app, and that's where you can find me. It's the only place you can find me, actually. And so remember, North Star, North Star, North Star. Before you change your body, you must first change your mind.
You tap into the real you, but you have to retrain yourself. The way you retrain yourself is you wake your ass up in the morning and you say, I am here for a reason and a purpose. And it's bigger than my moods. It's bigger than the difficulties of the day. I am here to live like a lion, not the fear of a lamb.